It's the way that you act. What is up, everybody? Stefan in my office. How are you? How's life? Currently in Phoenix, was in DC, and this is a story time about how I thought I was running a half marathon only to get half mile to the finish line and realize it was in fact not a half marathon. Let's talk about it. But before we get into today's video, if you could, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the bell notification. It actually helps with my analytics, so please do that. You care about growing. We are in a growth mindset over here, and let's get into today's story time. Okay, so if you're not familiar with my channel, I ran the Chicago Marathon on literally no prep. I know that sounds insane. It is insane. Every run club that I go to, and everybody's like standing around kind of having water cooler content talk prior to taking off and running. Every time I'm in my running groups, they'll ask everybody how they started running. It gets to me and I'm like, oh, subtle flex, but I ran the marathon in road training. It wasn't a subtle flex. Now, being more of a runner, I realize how much damage you can actually do by running long distances, without prepping, okay? And I kind of wish I would have prepped, but at the same time, something I'm learning between this run, all my other runs, and the marathon is that I actually do well on delusion. Like, delusion worked for me. I'm the poster child of delusion. If you learn anything from this video, it's to be more delusional, okay? Because I booked this flight. I booked what I thought to be a half marathon. Now, mind you, since I ran the Chicago Marathon on like zero prep, I ran with a charity. I went to church one day, occasionally go to church, and they were talking about how they wanted to do like this clean water thing, and there was going to be a charity that was going to be sponsoring people to run for the marathon. And I'm like, okay, at this point in my life, and still now, community is so important to me. I've been working on doing things that are more morally conscious. It sounds stupid, but there's this thing called a hierarchy of needs in psychology, and the more your needs are taken care of, the more you can trickle down into behaviors that are like more humanitarian. And it's been something that I felt passionate about for a while, and it caused me to want to sign up for this charity, right? Turns out I'm not running on solely determination, but actually cluelessness and community saved my life, okay? All right, we are on our way to the marathon, half marathon. I am running a 15K today, giving me like jingle balls, but I was thinking how freaking annoying that would be to be running that entire thing. I'm sure everybody else is gonna have them on, and that's gonna be so annoying. But I normally don't listen to music while I run, but today might push me to do that. Anyway, I am very excited. I'm a little bit more nervous today. I feel unprepared for this one compared to the marathon because I literally threw myself into it, whereas now I know what to expect. We'll see. I've also been running in like 18-degree weather in Chicago, so today should feel like light work, but knock on wood, don't track my time. It's probably gonna be crap, but I will finish it, and I get a reward at the end and hopefully a free beer. So anyway, really excited. And wish me luck. And so I really wanted to, kind of play this one up, especially from the fact that I've been going on group runs, averaging like around 15 to 20 miles a week running, which is amazing. I mean, I would have never expected that. Old me, a year ago me, 6 months ago me even, would not have expected that out of myself. And just the ramifications in the best ways possible of running. It's just been such a blessing. I've talked about it enough. Anyway, I digress. I booked the flight. I tell everybody about it. My boyfriend comes out. We fly out. Like, family was supposed to show up, this whole 9 yards, right? Okay. No, actually, no. That's not what happened. If you're familiar with any of my story times, it never goes as planned, okay? But this one really went completely not as planned. Thankfully, my family didn't show up, so that would have been more embarrassing because, I don't know, I was planning on having my aunts and uncles come in this whole 9 yards. It would have been so awkward for them to be waiting for me to like finish 15 actual miles, only to find out I was 9, because it was just awkward between me and my boyfriend. It wasn't really awkward, but I digress. Anyway, okay, so we get to DC 2 nights before the run. I was so excited. The next day we went over, picked up my bib, really excited about that. Also, I'd noticed that I perform better, or at least like can mentally get psyched out if I look good. I mean, half of the fun of running the Chicago Marathon and keeping me going was never knowing where the paparazzi was at, okay? And so that kept me going a lot of times in my runs, right? And I was really excited to get like a good picture, because the Chicago Marathon pictures were not good. I was really just trying to make it through. Okay, so I was like, okay, this will be easy. I've already done 26.2. I can do 15. I'll, get dolled up, but it'll be cute, right? Wrong. Okay, first of all, I ordered an outfit. I was so excited about it, only for it to not even ship in time, like not even sort of ship. And I ordered it 2 or 3 weeks prior to the run. Okay, so I was already bummed about that, but I was like, you know what? I'll make do. I always make do. When I was in the cult that I was born and raised in, we used to shop at Goodwill and have to buy skirts that were like 5 times too big so that they'd be long enough, or shirts that were 5 times too big so they'd be high enough. So like, I know how to flip and reverse whatever is going on in my life, right? Outfit's gonna be walk in the park. Worst case, I'll go somewhere, when I'm picking up my bed, that'll be okay. My outfit was okay. That was not the plot twist, okay? Flash forward to the day of the run. I'm so excited. The energy was high, woke up. I think we had like ramen or something the night before. It was great food. DC food is good, okay? We had been sleeping on DC food. If you're not from DC, go visit DC. It's clean, good food, reasonable prices at least. I don't think it would be reasonable to move there, but reasonable in terms of a larger city. But I expected the unexpected, but I did not expect this, okay? Get my bit of next day, wake up early. It was like 7 a.m., 6 a.m. Get dressed, and we head over. I was planning on warming up by walking there, but we were running late, and so I had to, we got an Uber, and then we Ubered to the location.
Fast, run strong, and jingle all.
Everybody has on their jingle hat.
Good luck, baby.
There was a lot of people there. I was surprised. Okay, you got a DJ, you got an announcer. I'm like, this is going to be a walk in the park, right? I'm hyped at this point. I run better in packs. I perform better in packs. I know what it is. That competition really just judges me up. I was ready. I was ready to put people in the dust. And honestly, I kind of regretted. I could have technically done a 15 miler if I would have done the 5K and the 15K. I think that would have equated to around a half a marathon, time frame. Apparently, in the runner's world, though, they always joke about it not being fun to do 5Ks because then you're just trying to PR yourself all the time. And I'm not really at that level, right? Like my miles typically are pretty slow, but I can run them, which is a huge improvement. I didn't even think I was capable of that. People commented on my recent TikTok that was going viral for, running just in the park back at my parents' house. People said I run funny, and that is true. I used to get bullied, well, mainly by my brother, but people used to comment on the fact that I do run funny. So, some things you can't really outrun. Pun intended. Okay, but anyway, flash forward, I'm running, right? I'm vlogging it. I'm like, oh, this is good. First mile was a little rough, but I'm like, okay, we got people around. There wasn't that many people. I'm used to the Chicago Marathon in the sense that people are cheering, okay? It's an insane vibe. If you haven't seen my video again, or even just my TikToks of my vlog of me running the marathon, yes, I've vlogged it, crazy. The energy is high, okay? The energy is so sky high, like insane amount of energy. People are cheering with signs. It's funny too, like the signage is great, okay? First of all, why are we still using kilometers? I don't understand that. We're not in Europe. What is going on? I think that's also what threw me for a loop in the best way in Chicago Marathon, because I kept seeing 1K, 5K, 6K, and I thought a 5K and the 5 miles were exactly the same. And so I was getting pictures next to signs being like, my first 10K ever, and thinking I was halfway done with the marathon essentially, only to find out, I was not, okay? But it kept me going, and that's one thing I want to stress is that delusion worked for me, okay? It got me through my cult era, it got me through my college era, it got me through my TikTok era. Rip to TikTok, please Lord, help it save itself. And it's getting me through this phase of my life. So delusion, I am the poster child of. Anyway, flash forward, I'm running, everything's going good, I'm seeing the Ks, I'm seeing the mileage. So I'm like, okay, at least they have miles and Ks. There wasn't that many cameras, so I was doing it off with pure willpower, but it was going fine, 6 miles down, 7 miles down, we're good. I took a chew at 8 miles in, and that was the first time I ever used a chew. I will say I do understand what people say when they say it's hard to swallow. I finished like maybe half of it, not even. It was pretty good though. It tasted like brownie batter. I was like, okay, we're bunkering in at this point. We're 8 miles in. I thought I had another 4 or 5 miles. I was like, oh yeah, we're good. We are Gucci. We are almost there. The first leg of the trip is over, okay? Wrong. It was pretty much done, okay? Flash forward, we're on mile 9, because apparently a 15K is 9.3 miles or something like that, right? We're on mile 9. I'm like, okay, I'm settled in at this point. I'm in a flow. It's pretty. It's really nice. You run by the monument. You run by all of these things. It's a nice running trail. I'm like, okay, we are locked in. We are locked and loaded. I've seen people slow down. I'm like, what is going on? I thought you guys trained for this. Come on, I'm not even trained and I'm doing this. Come on, buddy. I see this one dude. He's like literally almost on his hands and knees, like curled over on the side of the road, and I'm like, I love cheering people on. That's one thing about me I've learned, is that I love encouraging people. It's so nice. I just love the way it makes me feel, okay? So I'm like, come on, dude, we got this. I was making conversation with this other lady that was like probably 60 running beside me, and she was doing great. Start telling this dad, I'm like, come on, get up. We got another 5 miles to go. We've already done the hard thing, right? I'm saying this to him. He about like coughs up whatever liquid he had consumed. He's like, 5 miles? What do you mean 5 miles? I'm like, yeah, dude, you gotta know, like, this is Nathan. I was talking to these other German people on the way there. I don't know, like, there was a bit of a language barrier, I'm sure, because they were speaking in German. It was a son and a dad that were running. And I was like, oh, we got this. You're talking to them. And then they looked at me a little sideways, but I was like, maybe there's just some sort of communication barrier, right? So I'm talking to this guy a few miles past that. He looks at me sideways. He's like, what do you mean we've got another 5 miles? He gets up. He starts running. He's like, no, we've at like 0.3 left. I'm like, what? I thought this was a half marathon. I had been telling people, I've been vlogging the entire thing. I'm updating my parents because they weren't able to make it. I was updating my brother. I was texting my boyfriend. I was texting all these people, being like 5 miles in, you know, I was trying to live stream it at one point, only to find out I finished it with flying colors, but in the most annoying, frustrating way. Like at the end of it, I was actually annoyed. I think I even say this in the vlog footage, I'll include it. But I was super duper annoyed because I was like, okay, at this point I'm bunkered in. I just took my chew. I'm excited. I'm encouraging people. And then next thing you know, I hit a wall in the worst way possible.
Sitting by a tree, his reindeer was near, but they leave it with me.
April!
But you need to listen, y'all. Just in case you didn't know, I call this my Christmas flow. I can take you higher and higher. Just let's go for an open fire. Going away.
It's a 15K.
I kept encouraging everybody. I was like, 5 more to go. They were looking at me like I was crazy.
It's called neurodiversion.
There was this one guy that was about to collapse. I said, we already did the hard thing. We got 5 more to go. He said, what?
Let's see the medal.
And one thing I love about me is the fact that I will always show up and look like I know what I'm doing, even clearly when I do not. I clearly don't know the definition of a kilometer and equation to miles. I still don't. Even after this, I'm still not going to care. I'm just going to make sure that the next thing that I do is for sure, like, it has half marathon written 30 times on it. I'm already searching up my next runs. But if there's one thing I've learned, it's that it's better to do it clueless than to not do it at all. Sometimes you need a kick in your britches and a little delusion to get you through the difficulties of life. And I hope I'm a poster child to that because, God, I've learned enough lessons in the school delusion. But you know what? It's one of those things where you get into it just like the running. You get into it for the lessons and you stay because you learn you actually love it and you love that element of yourself. And I think it's hilarious that I'm always delusional and I'm clueless, yet somehow I figured it out. And maybe this is a sign to embrace your not so perfect elements of yourself and embrace your cluelessness and just be sane. Put one foot in front of the other, and sometimes all you need to do is personify knowing what you're doing because we're all living it through the school of life. So whether you're running a 5K, a 15K, or a race you totally misunderstood, always remember it's less about the details, more about putting one foot in front of the other, stopping at the finish line, and maybe snagging a snack at the end. Thanks everybody for watching. Let's continue to live in delusion. I hope you're having a wonderful start to your 2025 year. Very thankful for everybody. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful day. If you haven't already, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.